U.S. Ambassador to Ankara Barrack, Turkey plays a key role in Russia-Ukraine talks. As Ambassador to Ankara and Special Representative for Syria Tom Barrack spoke about the talks held in Istanbul, hosted by Turkey. Barrack noted that everyone refers to Turkey as a great NATO ally and said, "I think Turkey is playing a key role." U.S. Ambassador to Ankara and Special Representative for Syria Tom Barrack commented on the talks held in Istanbul, hosted by Turkey, and at ending the Russia-Ukraine war, saying, "I think Turkey is playing a key role. I think Turkey has traditional relations with both Russia and Ukraine, and this enables it to act as an important mediator in establishing dialogue." Ambassador Barrack noted that everyone in the global picture always refers to Turkey as a great NATO ally, adding, "Of course, that is undoubtedly true. But more important than being a great NATO ally is the extremely regional importance we are beginning to see in the Ukraine and Russia issue, as we have seen in Syria." Barrack said there is a very good relationship between President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and U.S. President Donald Trump, and he wants to help that relationship. "I think Turkey has a key role to play. I think Turkey has a traditional relationship with both Russia and Ukraine, and that makes it an important mediator, at least in terms of dialogue," Barrack said of the talks hosted by Turkey in Istanbul. Barrack stated that Trump has now reached the end of his patience on the Russia-Ukraine war. Us. Ambassador to Ankara and Special Envoy for Syria Tom Barrack's military presence in Syria. Barrack said that today's Syria policy will not be close to the Syria policy of the last 100 years, adding that none of these policies have worked, noting that since the beginning of the First World War, there have been problems stemming from the Western powers' desire to manipulate the region for their own purposes. Barrack said, "I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but let's start with the Balfour Declaration, for example. They tried to find a way to create a new and free region for the Jewish population. Then it evolved into Sykes-Picot, where, as you know, an Englishman and a Frenchman came together too. Tried to find a way to divide the Ottoman Empire, which was a region with incredible tribal and religious factions. There was a functioning system for the Ottoman Empire, but you can't draw artificial borders around tribes and religions." But Sykes-Picot did just that. Barrack stated that the historical agreements and turmoil in the Middle East stemmed from the West's attempts to dictate the future of the East, and that the reason for this was the effort to seize fossil fuels. Meeting between Turkey, Russia, and Ukraine delegations, our military bases are decreasing, responding to a question about whether the U.S. would withdraw its military presence from Syria. Barrack stated that they had begun to integrate the terrorist organization PKK-YPG, which uses the name SDG in Syria, into the central government in Damascus, saying, "Our military bases have also decreased. The number of U.S. bases has dropped from 8 to 3 and will eventually drop to 1. Barrack said they are currently under the protection of the U.S. Central Command CENTCOM. "I can say that without significant cooperation, our cooperation will eventually disappear. So there is a lot of pressure on everyone to reach an agreement.